Gundam.tk presents Wing Gundam. Welcome back everybody, this is Robert184 from Gundam.tk, and this is part 2 of my review of the high-grade 1/100th Wing Gundam. Don't forget to check out part 1 for all the parts, box, instructions, and details, but let's put this thing together now. But after watching this review of Wing Gundam, don't forget to check out my review of Wing Gundam 0. And if you like the videos, as always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear what you think. This couldn't be any simpler putting together. You'll just pop the legs onto the poly caps, and then the waist on like this. You'll attach the shoulders on like this, and you'll notice that the head does have a poly cap inside that is going to allow it some forward and backwards movement here on the neck. There are 4 pins connecting the wings on the back, which actually makes it pretty stable once you've put it on. And once you've put it all together, we're going to have the complete Wing Gundam. So there you have it, the completed 1/100th high-grade Wing Gundam. And my first impression of it is, first of all, that it is wide. I remember when I watched the anime, or I don't know if I've been affected by the master grade pictures or whatever, but anyway, this seemed to be a pretty slender kit, but back in the mid-90s they were making everything, including the X kits, etc. Well, not the Victory kits, but they just seemed to be big and blocky. But in terms of pluses, actually, though I thought I would miss the yellow instead of the shiny gold, I have to admit that the clear green jewel and the gold effect parts here on the claws, you do notice the sticker there on the forearms, but overall the gold actually does sort of lend something to this, which is better than I expected. So while they certainly didn't get the proportions right, what did they get right in terms of mobility? Well, if you get the front skirt up and out of the way, you can bring the legs forward, and yeah, he could sit down a little bit. The ankles will move, as I said, this far, forward and backwards, and off to the side fairly well. That's about as wide as you can bring the feet apart while keeping them flat on the ground. They're going to start to come up, as you'll notice, on both sides, and then he starts to lose a little bit of stability, but actually not too bad overall for balance. For the wings, you're able to bring them back no problem, but only 90 degrees, and for that, because of that, you're able to spin the arm all the way around, and you're able to spin the elbow around. The claw gets in the way a little bit, but you'll notice how loose that is, and especially with the wrists here, they all just want to be seeming to fall apart. For my favorite size comparison time, because the Wing Gundam is a relatively small Gundam at, 16.3 meters compared to the regular 18 meters, as you can see in the regular Gundam, but actually it doesn't look that much smaller, so maybe they cheated a little bit when they were designing this one. Now that I'm shooting in HD, maybe I can put 3 Gundams in for my size comparisons, but here it is compared to the high-grade 1/100th X, which came out at a similar time, and you'll notice that the X's head does look a fair bit shorter than that of the wing, but I believe the X is 17 meters, so something seems to be a little bit wrong with its height. So remember, the wing should only be slightly taller than the 15-meter Victory Gundam, but instead it actually seems to be quite a bit taller. And finally, how does the Mark II Gundam stack up against its Zeta mid-season replacement, in this case the Wing 0? For height they look to be pretty similar overall. Weaponizing is not as easy as it looks because the rifle here is able to move up and down, which can cause some instability, and there are no pegs or anything like that on the hand to actually keep it in place, and especially with these loose wrists, this is going to fall pretty easily. How you doing there, Wing Gundam? Blah. Any chance of it holding straight out? Nope. But if you do get the claw out of the way and bring the elbow up at a 90 degrees, it does seem to stay in place well, I'm glad I said that. It does seem to stay in place a little bit, but you can just see the overall weakness there. But it does do an alright job of going off to the side, and even down here. Yeah, if you try to bring it forward though, yeah, it's going to fall down in general. So here is this ugly, almost monocolor shield, which you just plug into the peg, and that peg is only on the right arm. And for weight issues here, yeah, you can just see the same problems here. So weaponized, this is the kind of effect you're going to get. Once you get the shoulders down, you're able to move the arm a little bit with the shield, but again, it will want to fall down depending on how you get it jammed up there into the shoulder armor. You can cheat though and keep it in place. And as far as this arm goes, yeah, pretty much most of your poses are going to end up with the Wing Gundam looking like that on your shelf. Here you can see I've extended the wings off to the side. We can also extend the red parts as well. And if you do get everything, I've got this on the slow speed. Anyway, if you do extend everything, you can maneuver the shield and the gun into some alright looking poses on occasion. Just don't expect them to stay in place that long. Again, with the wings out, you are able to bring the shield across the chest, and it's staying up so far. The beam saber, again, there's nothing really to hold it in the hand, and it does reveal that it has a clear green hilt down here at the bottom, but overall it doesn't look as bad as I expect. So to transform it from the mobile suit mode into bird mode is not all that complicated, as you can see from the fact that we just have one page here in the instruction manual. So the first things that we're going to do is flip the head around, and then you're going to spin the whole lower body around like this. And then to get the arms ready, what you're going to do is you'll notice that this part opens up here, and then you're going to take the hand and its weak wrist mechanism there, plug that in, and then you're going to bring down the claw and then bring that forward. So then if you think of it, this is sort of going to be the feet of the bird, and then you bend the shoulder down, although there's really no nice way that this is going to lock into place. It's just sort of all going to sit there a little loosely. Next up, for transforming the legs, you're going to bring up the waist skirt and then bend the legs up like this, and then you'll just sort of get the effect here that the waist skirt covers up that gray part there. And then you'll bring down the feet, really nothing more than that. Like, you can sort of play with that to get that in the right position, and then angle the thrusters in such a way that they're shooting towards the back of this bird jet. To prepare the front of the bird for transformation, you're just going to take the shield and the rifle here, and then you're just going to plug those parts in, and they should stay in place fairly well. And you can say goodbye to the hidden face, because there's going to be two pegs here that are going to plug in to the backpack, and again, the connection is actually fairly solid. And well, it still seems to be just a Gundam that's sort of bent over. Actually, this does a pretty good job of hiding its Gundamness compared to some of the other transforming Gundams that I've seen. The legs really do just sort of come up and bend. There's really nothing fancy about that, and I should put the thrusters in the right place anyway. But the wings do come out, and especially the shield mechanism does look pretty good, and it hides the head fairly well from the top anyway. That green sticker does look a little bit cheap, but the effect of the Buster rifle on the front does look pretty good, and something that I have to give a little bit of props to is the fact that it has the gold claws for the bird legs here. Even though they don't seem to be doing much, serving much purpose in terms of actually holding it up, they do just add that little bit of color that otherwise might not be there and you might not notice it so much. So this bird mode impresses me a little more than I expected. If they give you whooshing effect parts though, who am I not to use them? So you're just going to plug in these vertical ones into the red part of the wings, and if you'll notice down here there's a hole there, and then you're going to have two clasps there that you're going to attach these parts onto either of the wings. Please add your own sound effects. So with the effect parts in place, actually the effect is not that bad. It does look a little bit cheesy and cartoony, but then again it was the 1990s, so maybe that's fitting that we have gold trim followed by translucent neon plastic parts there whooshing out of the back. Alright everybody, so that wraps up part 2 of my review of the high-grade 1/100th Wing Gundam. Stay tuned for part 3 and I'll have my final thoughts and wrap-ups. Anyway, Robert184, rate, comment, subscribe. See you soon. Blah. So you know I'm gonna get a master grade in a couple days, and you weren't even on the survey list for the people's most wanted master grades. Yes, but that means you're going in the garbage in a few days, while I will be on the shelf for quite a while. Oh.